Now, on the Suze Orman Show.
He's okay with having the debt, but it's driving me insane.
One marriage, two money styles.
Where does your husband think that there's any money at all to make any purchases on any level? Oh, I know. He's going to put it back on your credit cards, correct?
Correct.
Plus, a daughter's request creates friction.
If you lent her the money, is this going to cause a problem between you and your husband?
Oh, it might.
And you ask Suze, can I afford it?
My husband and I want to take a year off and travel through Central and South America.
Will you be guaranteed to both have your jobs again?
I would be guaranteed to have my job. My husband would not.
Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching The Suze Orman Show. Tonight, I've got a cornucopia of best calls you've never heard on this post-Thanksgiving weekend. Here's how this works. We always tape more than we can fit in a show, so we put all the extras together to give you never-before-seen advice. And since it's Thanksgiving and a time for family, tonight's advice is family-focused, beginning with couples who see money completely differently. Let's go to Michigan. Catherine, what's your question?
Hi, Susie. I'm having a little bit of a dilemma with my husband. We have differences of opinion regarding our credit card debt. We had about $40,000 at the start of 2013, and I've got it paid down to $27,000 now. So I feel like I'm doing good. But he doesn't, because we don't have kids. He thinks that we shouldn't have to save for our large purchases, that we should just be able to go and buy them because he's okay with having the debt, but it's driving me insane. It's totally against what my parents taught me. So what do we do? Like, what's the best route for us? How do we avoid this
what's
dilemma?
the interest on this $27,000 of remaining credit card debt?
I have actually done some balance transfers so that all of it is on a 0% interest card.
All right, 0% interest card. And how much money, if any, and I hope it's not, because otherwise you shouldn't have credit card debt, do you have in an emergency fund?
The most I have is about $2,000. That's just to cover, because I was afraid that if a large bill came in, that I wanted to make sure, like, our car insurance was paid and things like that.
And so where does your husband think that there's any money at all to make any purchases on any level? Where does he think that money's going to come from? Oh, I know. He's going to put it back on your credit cards, correct?
Correct.
And he doesn't get why that is not how you can live. You're going to need retirement. You need emergency funds. You need all of these things to keep you going. And what he's doing is buying big things that cost you more, and you're financing it on credit cards. Is he kidding me? So there is no negotiation here. There is no way to handle this other than he has got to stop and come to his senses, because he is still acting like a 3-year-old child that's like, you know, going, Mommy, 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 I want this, I want this, I want this. But there's no money for it. So you're going to have to act like the adult in this situation. Take away his credit cards. Do not let him charge anything. And if he doesn't want to abide by your wishes, where do you think this is going to end up, girlfriend? Really, where do you think it will end up if he continues to act this way? Be honest with me right now.
Oh, we're just going to get more in debt, and I think it's going to cause more problems between us.
And if it causes more problems between you, what happens then? Now we're looking at divorce, right? Because problems lead to divorce. So if he cares more about the things that money can buy than caring about money itself, if he cares more about the things that he can put on credit cards versus making his wife happy and whole and not being afraid because she doesn't have all this credit card debt and she has more than $2,000 in an emergency fund, it's going to lead you where you don't want to be. So either he listens to you now or you both are going to really pay for it later. Let's go to Illinois. Kimber, ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. Thanks for taking my question. My husband and I are having trouble determining how to balance saving for retirement and enjoying life now. I'm the saver, and I'm worried we'll outlive our retirement, and he's worried that he's going to die young and not get to spend all of it. So how do we come to a balance on how much we save for retirement and how much we spend now?
So let's look at your husband and his fear for a second. Is anybody in his family that he has, his immediate family, did his mother die early? Did his father die early? Did a brother? Has he experienced a death of a loved one that died far before their time?
No, they're all alive.
They're all alive. So this is just something that he just wants to spend money. Besides his lack of wanting to, save for the retirement for future, is he a spender when you look at him? Does he like to buy little boy toys and things like that?
Not really. He's usually very good about not overspending.
And
but I think there's some things he'd like to do, and I'm saying, but maybe we should be putting that money into retirement.
And what kind of things would he like to do?
Actually, he'd like to buy an antique tow truck.
Oh, an antique tow truck. Now, let me just think about this. Antique tow truck, or retirement. The truck is probably going to be in better shape than what he's going to be when he's an antique. The question really is this: are you maxing out your retirement accounts? Are you projecting out into the future? And with a possible pension, whatever it is that you get, will there be more than enough to meet your financial needs at the time? If there will be, then he can enjoy life. If there won't be, antique tow truck, I don't think so. A new marriage is taking a financial toll on Fabian. She was overwhelmed by bills and called in for help. Let's go to Tennessee. Fabian, madam, what can I do for you tonight?
Hello, Susie. I have a bit of emergency here.
All right.
I am just so overloaded in bills right now. I thought I was financially savvy until I got married 2 years ago, and now the bills from my husband and myself combined are just too much. I'm thinking about having my husband close out his TSP or sell our second home to take care of these bills. I've used all my savings to take care of some debt that he had before we were married, including my retirement.
Yeah.
We have credit card debt.
How much credit card debt do you have?
Well, the credit card debt is $4,000.
Yeah.
We have a car loan.
How much is that? How much is your car loan?
We have a car loan for about $27,000, which is the same amount as his TSP.
All right. Now, here's the thing you have to understand. How old is your husband?
My husband is 35.
35. What makes you think that if you took all this money from all of these places, wiped yourself clean, that these bills would not accumulate again? What makes you think that?
Well, my hopes is that we won't go out and buy another car. And in some way, we need to create some type of budget because he buys gifts on me. We do things that we used to do before we dated, and that's the problem. We don't have the extra funds.
But that doesn't, just because you pay off bills and now you have extra money because the money's not going to the bills, that doesn't change the behavior. The behavior needs to change so that the bills change. Money cannot solve this problem. Money, truthfully, can never solve any financial problem. Because the problem just comes back because you never dealt with the problem of your desire to overspend and not be responsible. You cannot take money out of a TSP and not pay a 10% penalty and ordinary income taxes on it. And does he still work at the place where he has his TSP?
No, he no longer works there anymore.
Yeah, all right, so he could, if he wanted to withdraw the TSP, but that $27,000 will be added onto your income. You will lose about 50% of it between taxes and a 10% penalty. So that won't pay off your car loan. It won't pay off your credit card debt. It won't really do much for you in the end. Also, retirement accounts are protected against bankruptcy. So if you ever had to claim bankruptcy, that money would still be there. So you are not to touch that money. Do you hear me?
Okay.
All right.
I hear you.
Here is the real thing that you need to get. The two of you need to sit down and you need to decide with each other, what are we going to cut out and stop spending money on so that we can pay our bills? And if you don't have enough money to pay your bills and you've cut everything out, then bankruptcy is an option. When two families blend into one in a second marriage, there's a lot to balance. Take a look at this call from Terry, who needed help figuring out what's fair. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Terry, you're up. What can I do for you tonight?
Hi, Susie. Here's my question. I got remarried at 46, and together with my husband, we have 4 kids. He's got 3, and I have 1. I've always worked and done very well for myself, and we've recently combined our finances, and I'm trying to figure out what's really fair in terms of the joint responsibilities we now have as a married couple, being the fact that he's got 3 kids and I have 1. So beyond child support, there are colleges to fund and a retirement to save for.
For yourselves. So
yeah.
Your real question is that how do you allocate your money now for all of these kids? I just have to ask, are all 4 of these kids living under one roof with you?
No.
No. So
no.
Is your child living with you and the other 3 are living with his ex-wife?
Correct.
And how do you feel close to his kids?
Yes.
You do. Do you consider them your children now as well as your own child?
I would have to say no, because they're older.
They're older than your own child. And do you feel that between you and your husband that you are currently saving enough money for your own retirement, to pay off your own mortgages, for your own emergency accounts, for your own everything that you need? Is there more than enough money for all of that to happen?
No.
No. Whether this was a first marriage, or a second marriage, or a third marriage, what Suze Orman would be saying to you, it does not matter whose kids are whose. What matters is, are you and your husband okay? And you have got to make sure that the money that is there first goes to fund your future. There is always going to be money for the kids to be able to take out student loans and go to college if they want to go to college and all that. But that is not your or his responsibility on any level. Your responsibility is to each other, making sure that you both are okay. But don't let guilt and what you think you should do get in the way. Be adults. Show your kids that you're going to take care of yourselves first. If there's any extra money afterwards, maybe you can help them. But if there's no extra money, they're just going to have to do it on their own. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense to me. I hope I can get that message across to my husband, because I've tried.
Yeah, well, just tell him to tune in when this airs and listen to me, husband. You need to take care of yourself and your wife. And if you don't, later on, when you're older, you're going to say, why didn't I listen to Susie? College was also top of mind for Carol when she called in about a disagreement. She and her husband were at odds over their daughter's request. Let's go to CNC. That stands for Carol in California. Girlfriend, ask me your question.
My daughter is about to graduate with her master's degree. She'll have $22,000 in student loan debt at 6.8%. She wants us, her parents, to loan her the money to pay the loan off so she won't have to pay the $5,000 in interest. My husband does not want to do this, and I just hate seeing her waste that $5,000 on interest. She's always worked hard, and I know she'll pay this back. Should we lend her the money or not?
If you lent her the money, is this going to cause a problem between you and your husband?
Oh, it might.
It might. Is $5,000 worth you having problems with your husband? People first, then money. Is $5,000 really worth it? We're not talking about a lot of money. It would be one thing if maybe she had $100,000 of student loan debt, but it's $22,000 of student loan debt. And as much as you know that she worked hard, she works hard, and she will absolutely pay you back, what were to happen if she got sick? What were to happen if she had an accident? What would happen if she didn't have this money and now she can't pay you back? So the question first to you would have to be, if she never paid you back, would you and your husband be okay?
I think so.
You think so? No, you did not say.
I don't think we'd miss the money.
All right, but if you're not going to miss the money, if everything would be okay that way, then maybe you would do it. But if it's going to upset your husband, then I have to tell you, you have to go with your husband on this one, and it's not going to make her or break her either way. $5,000 is $5,000. It's what she had to pay to go to school.
Coming up next, the daughter's resentment.
They want my new husband and me
pay off their credit card debt and supplement their monthly expenses. And I really don't think it's right.
And leader, can he afford it?
I'm under pressure here
If Susie says so,
because if I say no, there goes your dream cruise. Everybody's so fast today, aren't they? They're like these, they make me look slow. Hi, Susie. And I go, what did she just say? We're back with a cornucopia of best calls you've never heard for this holiday weekend. Tonight's advice is focused on family. I get a lot of calls from adult children worried about how their parents are handling, or rather mishandling, their money. The situation was pretty bad for Anne, who was caught between a rock and a hard place. We are going to Anne in Ohio. Do you have a question for me?
I do, Susie. Both of my parents are 86, and they just informed me that they're broke. Their Social Security only covers about 1/3 of their monthly expenses, and they tell me they've pared that down to the bare minimum. They have been using credit cards to supplement their Social Security and are now $45,000 in debt. They've sold all their assets, including their home, my mother's jewelry, the car, the tractor. They are able to still live in the home and pay rent, but they want my new husband and me to pay off their credit card debt and supplement their monthly expenses. I just started a new business, and I'm not taking a salary, and I really don't think it's right, and I don't want to ask my husband to pay for their monthly expenses.
So go ask me your question. Go on.
Sorry. I want them to stop paying on their credit cards, but that goes against their integrity. Is that the right thing to do?
The integral thing to do is to claim bankruptcy, to really officially eliminate that and have that on their credit report so nobody else gives them credit again, so they can't do this to themselves again. You do need to know that if they die, that $45,000 of credit card debt is not yours. It does not pass down to you, so don't worry about that. It is wrong for them to ask you to pay off the credit card debt now. It would have been right if years ago they had come to you and they said, Anne, I don't have any money. We don't know what to do. Honey, can you help us then? And then you could have helped them possibly with making the correct financial decisions versus just masking all of this with selling jewelry, selling this and selling that. Probably in their head, Anne, they were thinking they're not going to live long enough to have to worry about all of this. And here they're still alive. And they could really stay alive if they're healthy for another 10 years or longer. So, Anne, you're going to have to be the adult here. Doesn't matter if your parents are going to have to make hard decisions. They have to make those decisions now and grow up. But I would not be taking on their economic burden, especially if you do not have the money to do so by paying off their credit card debt. We are going to Massachusetts. Carrie, you're up.
Hi, Susie. So good to talk to you.
Thank you, sweetheart. You got a question for me?
Yes, I do. My parents are getting older. My mother is 74 and my father is 84, and they have a will, but they do not have a living revocable trust. They own own the home outright, and they have some cash and investments. But my mother says that the price of having the trust set up is about the same as what the probate fees would be. And she doesn't want to discuss it any further. What do I say to her?
You say to her, Mom, that's not necessarily true. There are places that you can go and you can set up a trust for a lot less than you think it's going to cost you to do. But here is the thing that I would say to my mom. Mom, all right, forget about probate. Forget about the fact that we're going to have to spend all of this money to settle this thing. Fine. You don't care about it. I don't care about it. But, Mom, what happens when something happens to your husband? He is 10 years older than you, Mom, and men actuarially speaking, die before women do. That is just a fact. So, Mom, what happens as you get older? Who's going to pay your bills for you? Who's going to write your checks for you? Who's going to take care of all of this money for you, Mom, if you happen to have a stroke, you get ill, or something like that happens? A will is not going to help you. Probate doesn't help you in this situation, Mom. Oh, Mom, you have a financial power of attorney. Well, guess what? They become null and void in most cases in case of an incapacity. A living revocable trust with an incapacity clause in it allows you to step in and sign for her when she can't do it for herself. I did that for my own mother, who lived till she was 97. There are so many more reasons, every single one of you. If you have elderly parents or younger children, you should have a living revocable trust. And your mother needs to see this when it airs, because, Mom, I'm here to tell you, if you don't, you are making one of the biggest mistakes in your life. Let's go to Shannon in North Carolina. What's your question for me?
Hi, Susie. I've always been a really good saver, but my parents have never been good with their money. And now that they're retired, they still live paycheck to paycheck, and I'm afraid that makes me their emergency fund. Is it too late for them to be financially independent, or should I just resign myself to working to support my parents?
Yeah, Shannon, how old are your parents right now?
They are 70 and 72.
70 and 72. And do they have a pension? Do they have Social Security coming in? Do they have those things coming in where they're just getting by on them right now?
Yes.
They do.
They have no savings.
All right, so it is possible that if one of them gets ill, if one of them has to end up in a nursing home or something like that, that you may be their go-to person. Now, I know it's not a great thing when that happens, especially if you don't have money yourself to take care of yourself. But I will always think that if our parents are doing the best they can, and we can't blame them if they're not being good savers. I mean, we should have talked to them about this a long time ago. But if that's the situation they're in right now, will they ever be financially independent? I doubt it. However, if they need to come to you, then it's your responsibility to take care of them because they are your parents, whether you like it or not. So I would be preparing for that day because most likely it is going to happen.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
I have a nice enclosed patio and I have old beat up furniture on it, and it's so uncomfortable. I don't want to spend any time out there.
You're a little bit light on your savings. I have to tell you that.
And
why do you want to buy it?
It's something I want to buy for myself with just my own money.
Well, you love your kids more than you love your financial future, don't you? What do you want to buy?
Patio furniture.
Travel through Central and South America.
2015 Acura MDX.
Welcome back to my latest Best Calls You've Never Heard show on this Thanksgiving weekend. Time for Can I Afford It? This is where you call in, you tell me what it is that you want to buy, and oh, I will. I'll tell you if you can afford it or not. All of these calls are new, so play along. Let's see if I approve or deny. Riz, what do you want to buy?
Hi, hello Susie. Thanks for taking my call. Me and my wife watch you every Saturday, and we are reading your book, Action Plan.
Thank you, kind sir. So what can I do for you tonight in terms of what do you want to buy?
We want to go on a cruise to Plea and Cozumel, and my wife thinks that if you say we can go, otherwise we cannot go. So that's what I need your help with.
I see. So I'm under pressure here because if I say no, there goes your dream cruise to Belize. Boyfriend, show me the money.
We take home $5,753, which includes $720 of monthly rental income.
Yeah.
Our expenses are $3,507 a month. Our debt is $35K for a 15-year mortgage fixed and $33K in student loans. And we own our home, the rental home, outright. And our savings are $67K liquid and $130 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
We're going to put it on a credit card and then pay this off through our liquid.
Through your liquid. So you're going to put it on the credit card so you get points, but
Yes,
it comes
ma'am.
really out of the $67,000 that's liquid, correct?
Correct.
All right, so it's $2,200 and you are denied. Oh, let me tell you, Riz, why I am denying you. You are 50 years of age and you are not saving enough for retirement. I only have $130,000 in a retirement account. You should have had that $130,000 when you were in your 30s, not in your 50s. And I'm just so afraid that if you keep doing this, you keep doing that, when it comes time for you to cruise through your retirement life, you won't have enough money. So out of love, you have been denied. Andrea, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I would love to get some patio furniture. I have a nice enclosed patio, and I have old beat-up furniture on it, and it's so uncomfortable. I don't want to spend any time out there. I'd like to get a new set, and the cost is about $1,500.
I got it. Show me the money.
My take-home is $4,069 a month.
Yep.
My expenses are $2,554 a month.
Yep.
The only debt I have is $82,000 left on a 10-year fixed mortgage.
Yep.
And in savings, I have $24,000 in liquid and $207,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
I'm going to take it out of my liquid.
So if you take it out of your liquid, you still are doing okay with your 8-month emergency fund, are you not?
That's correct, yeah.
You are doing okay with that. You're a little bit light on your savings. I have to tell you that. At 42, you should have more than $207,000 in retirement. But here you are, you have this money, you need this furniture, or you're not going to use it out there for some reason. You know, what do you think I'm going to say to you? Guess what? You're denied. And I know that you have the 8-month, but you're not doing everything that I need you to be saving more for your retirement than you are saving. I would rather see you take that money and put it in your Roth IRA so you have something to live on rather than to sit on right now. Teresa, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. Thank you for taking my call.
Anytime, Teresa. What do you want to buy?
I want to buy a brand new car, 2015 Acura MDX.
And you want to spend $48,000 for it. You know, I've looked at that car. That's a really great car. But it's $48,000. All right. Why do you want to buy it?
It's something I want to buy for myself with just my own money because I'm going to give my current car to my oldest daughter when she starts to drive.
You know what I loved about what you just said to me? You didn't lie to me. You didn't say, because I need this car. You said, I just want to buy it with my own money for myself. Girlfriend, show me your money.
Okay, my take-home is $6,790 a month.
Yes.
My expenses are $3,777 a month.
Yes.
My only debt I have is $125,000 on a 15-year fixed mortgage. And my savings, I have $35,000 liquid, $11,000 in investments, $545,000 in retirement, and $254,000 in college savings for my kids.
Boy, you love your kids more than you love your financial future, don't you?
I think so, but I think
look at those numbers
myself now.
Yeah, you have $254,000 in college savings and $35,000 liquid, and you know you have almost 50% of your retirement is what for the college savings for the kids. So what do? You want a car? All right. How are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for this?
I am going to sell my $11,000 in my investments. And from now until the new car come out, I like to save some more money. So my payment would be $1,000 or less per month.
And that's over a 3-year period of time, correct?
No, I want to pay it off before 3 years or less.
3 years or less.
Right.
And so you want to know if you can afford it or not, right?
Right.
Right. Well, again, you are approved. Girlfriend, you are approved because you have the money to do so. You have enough of your 8-month emergency fund. You're doing great with everything, and you can afford that $1,000 a month, believe it or not. Whatever, go for it. Patricia, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. My husband and I want to take a year off and travel through Central and South America. I work a demanding job that requires long hours and travel, and both my husband and I have had some serious health scares. So we really just want to take some downtime and reconnect with each other and sort of get out of the daily grind.
Show me the money.
Right now, my take-home pay is $14,283. Our expenses are $65.76, and that includes the $23.50 a month we pay in rent. We have no debt. In our savings, we have $452,000 liquid, $110 in investments, and $925 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
Out of my savings account.
Out of liquid.
Out of our liquid.
And 1 year after you come back, will you be guaranteed to both have your jobs again?
I would be guaranteed to have my job. My husband would not, and so he would look for employment.
But given your expenses, you would be able to pay for all of your expenses with just your income alone. Would that be true?
Yes, that's very true.
All right, then, Patricia, I'm here to tell you, bon voyage, you have been approved because you have the money to do so. And especially with the health scares, sometimes you need to just do what you need to do. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? It's simple. All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information you need to know there to come and play with me right here. And if, in fact, you're chosen, you're on the air with me, guess what we're going to send you? We're going to send you a T-shirt with my verdict on it just for you.
Up next, the dream of buying a home.
Our current duplex is probably 850 square feet. I'm not sure. It just feels like we're crowded.
The reality of little savings.
Rather than change your living situation, I want you to change your attitude as to how you see your living situation.
And climbing back from bankruptcy.
I'm a single mother. I don't work outside the home, and I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild my credit.
I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. Welcome back to my latest Best Calls You've Never Heard show. The Suze Orman Show is nothing without you people, so I want you to be a part of it. So many ways you can participate. Take a look at your screen. You can email me to be a caller, a guest, or to ask a question on webcam. You can join me on Facebook, or you can tweet me at Suze Orman Show. I get a lot of emails from single moms, each with a different story and financial situation. Here are two facing very different challenges. Kendra, coming to us all the way from Montana. Ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I very much need your advice. I am a single mother of 2 daughters. We're seriously outgrowing our current duplex we live in. I was considering buying a home because the interest rates are low, and to rent a home here, it's comparable to a mortgage. I'm hesitant to do so because I have some student loan debt, and I also have I only have a small emergency fund of about $5,000. I have saved $5,000 for a down payment with the help of a first-time home buyer program, but I'm nervous to make the decision. I'd like to do so without any debt, but we're outgrowing our place. We just really need to move on.
So, Kendra, how old are the girls now?
They're 11 and 13.
11 and 13, so they're right around still the same age, correct?
Yes,
in
correct.
Just a few short years, in 4 years, in 6 years, they're going to both be probably out of the house and going to college. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Why do you feel that you are outgrowing the house? Is it because they both have to share a bedroom?
They do have to share a bedroom, but even more important, I want to say that our current duplex is probably 850 square feet. I'm not sure It just feels like we're crowded, but I've made it work, and I could continue, to do so if that if that is your advice, I would do that.
Yeah, so Kendra, here's what I do want you to do.
Okay.
Rather than change your living situation, I want you to change your attitude as to how you see your living situation. The truth of the matter is we look at life and we should go, oh my God, thank God I even have a house that I can have as a roof over my daughter's heads to begin with. So be grateful for the little space that you do have versus getting yourself in a situation where you have more space. You can't afford it. More space means higher electricity bills, higher water, everything. It's more expensive, more insurance, it's more everything. And all you have is $5,000 in an emergency fund. So if something happened to you and you have even more space, now we're really, really in trouble. So change your attitude, stay where you are, take any extra money that you have and build up that emergency fund, and just be happy because something is better than nothing. We're going to Missouri. April, what's your question?
Hi, Susie. Several years ago, I went through a divorce, ended up losing my home, filing for bankruptcy. Now my kids and I live with my parents, so I can stay home with my kids. And I'm a single mother. I don't work outside the home, and I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild my credit. I just recently received an offer for a secured credit card through my bank. And I don't know, should I apply for that? Should I wait till the bankruptcy's off my credit report? I'm just not sure what to do.
Yeah, your bankruptcy isn't going to be off your credit report for a good 10 years. You'll be officially able to claim bankruptcy again after 6 years, but the information will stay on your report for 7 to 10 years and so forth. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to shock you. You kind of want it to stay on your credit report if you want to rebuild your credit score. Now, why is that, Suze Orman? That is because when you are in bankruptcy or you have that on your report, when the credit score is figured, your calculations are figured with all other people that are in bankruptcy. You're not compared to one of the algorithms of all the other millions of people out there that haven't claimed bankruptcy. Your algorithm for your score is compared to those that have claimed bankruptcy. So you could actually have a higher score when you're in bankruptcy, when you compare it that way, than when you're out of bankruptcy being compared to everybody else. The secured credit card that you've just been offered is a great way to go. Now, the question is it the best secured credit card that is out there? And you would be able to compare that with other ones just simply by going on the internet and seeing what others are offering you. But a secured credit card is what you need to do now to rebuild your score.
Next, they're engaged for now.
He wants to shop, and we have to get this resolved before we can get married.
That is a big yield, caution, stop sign. I'm kind of chatty today. Have you noticed? I'm a little chatty. Nobody talked to me. I need company. I'm here all by myself. Welcome back to a Thanksgiving cornucopia filled with my best calls you've never heard. As we've seen tonight, it can be tough getting over money hurdles in a marriage. But you might not have as many if you pay attention before you say I do. Take a look at these next calls for some warning signs. Marvette coming to us tonight from Texas. Girlfriend, what's up?
Hi, Suze. I'm calling because my fiance makes twice what I make, and he likes to shop. I want to pay the bills. I suggested we put everything together, make a budget, but he wants to shop, and we have to get this resolved before we can get married.
That's right, you do. And here's what's so great, is that he's still just your fiance. When somebody displays certain financial behaviors that you know aren't correct, that they are not responsible, they are not respectful, and you do not see this person exhibiting any behaviors for wanting to budget with you, do what they need to do with you, save money, even if the stage of being a fiance, that is a big yield, caution, stop sign. Because if you think they are going to change their behaviors when they get married to you, I'm here to tell you, no, they don't. People do not change almost 95% of the time. If he is not displaying the fact that, yes, I want to change, girlfriend, what I would say to you is watch it carefully. Do not say I do. Do not go ahead with this marriage, because his bills, no matter how much money he has, will eventually turn into credit card debt that you will be responsible for. So you know what I'm saying is true. So just do what you know, and do not marry this person until he so changes. It's not even funny. California, we're coming your way, and we have Kayla on air. Ask me your question.
Hi, Susie. My long-term boyfriend of 7 years and I recently bought a home. We don't have any kids. I immediately got a life insurance policy to protect him if something should happen. However, he hasn't purchased one, saying he's too young to get a policy and that it really isn't that big of a deal. But I feel like he's leaving me financially vulnerable if something were to happen to him. I feel like he should do this sooner rather than later. Is this something I should keep hammering to do now, or just drop it for a while?
No, don't hammer it anymore. This is something you are going to do now, but you do not need his permission to do so. You can be the owner of this policy. He could be the insured, and you could be the beneficiary. So you don't need his permission. All you have to do is call up, get a policy, get it for the amount that you want, take the paperwork to him, say, boyfriend, sign right here on the bottom line. It's not going to cost you a penny. Have him sign. You are the owner. You are the beneficiary. If anything happens to him, you are okay. Do not rely on somebody else taking care of you. You have to take care of yourself. Got it? And that's how you do it. But you take this situation to heart. He did not want to take care of you. So maybe he's just going to stay the boyfriend and never turn into the husband.
Up next, one more thing Susie wants you to know.
Please think twice before you spend money that you don't have, because that is not a gift to the person you're giving it to or yourself. All right, so that brings us to the end of the Best Calls You've Never Heard show. But before we go, there is still one more thing I want you to know. Oh, the holidays, they are so here. Monday, Cyber Monday, you're just waiting to spend money on all these things that you probably don't even need, but you may want. It is really important during these next weeks that you really watch all the money that you spend. You know, when I used to go out into people's houses and look in their closets, what I would find are all these gifts that you would give people that they never would even use, or they never even wanted them, but they were too embarrassed to take them back. Please think twice before you spend money that you don't have, because that is not a gift to the person you're giving it to or yourself. Come on, this is the time to give love. This is the time to be charitable and maybe go help somebody with some actions or some deeds. You don't have to spend money, especially if you don't have it. Do you hear me? Now you know. Okay, until next week, there's only one thing that I really want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay safe. Bye-bye.